Ashley, the creator of Paper to Thread. Welcome to my channel.
Growing up, I always liked to draw and to paint. I was always doodling or, you know, something with a pencil. Up until recently, I hadn't really done anything to further the skill or better the skill. I have been practicing more and drawing more and just trying to hone the skills that I do have. And I thought I would do a beginner video for beginners, just a review of the products I've tried and what I thought about them, coming from the mindset of someone who really isn't sure of everything I'm trying, if that makes sense. And just my thoughts on the products and how they were helpful or not helpful for me as a beginner. So we're going to start with pencils because that's where we always start when drawing. So I started with just a regular mechanical, this is just a Papermate clear point 0.5 mechanical pencil. And while this draws just fine, I was finding my leads were breaking. I was, you know, getting a little frustrated. I couldn't get certain things I wanted. I mean, I could. It just was a little more effort. So I decided to try some drawing pencils. And I will say I love these a lot more. I feel like I have more control. I can have a soft shade if I want, or there's just a wider variety for me with the drawing pencils. These were just a cheap set I picked up at Michael's, and I do have a few of the Derwent pencils. This one's a charcoal pencil. They do come in different, I guess, grades you would call it, and if you look those up, it tells you what each individual pencil is good for. I still do like to use a mechanical pencil. My problem was with the thin lid that I had. So I did find pencils with much thicker lead, and these do help a lot. Not sure if it's going to focus on this, but the lead is a lot thicker, and it still shades well. It's harder to get a fine point with this, but it doesn't break as easily. So these were what I started with as far as pencils. And I do prefer these over these now. So these are my go-to. Now, just a good set of drawing pencil. Good paper is key. So I started with this mixed media paper. And it does say it's good for watercolors. What I found was that when I went to actually paint on this paper with the watercolors, it did not, it did okay. It didn't do bad. It just didn't take it as well as some of the other papers I've tried. So this is still a great paper. I love this for sketching and using my inks. I just have to remember if I'm going to do heavy watercolor that maybe this isn't the paper. I will say I have used extremely cheap paper. I have a really cute little sketchbook, and it is made with this banana paper. I love it. It's wonderful. However, it is a very thin paper, and it can't hold applications like the heavy ink or the watercolors. The paper disintegrated, it tore, it ripped, and it was very frustrating when I didn't have the right paper. So I think it is important to spend a little bit more money on quality paper, just like every artist channel out there says. You know, if you're going to spend a little more money, spend it on better products. So far I have tried the Bristol board, which I really like, and I've also use the Strathmore watercolor paper. This is 140 pounds, and this is the 400 series. I really like this. This accepts the paint well. It handles what I want to do a lot better than the mixed media as far as watercolors. The Bristol board, again, I really like it. It's just a little bit smoother than the watercolor paper, and it holds the watercolor. If it's light, I wouldn't do a whole bunch on here. So this paper, again, is good for pencil, ink, as long as it's not a lot of heavy ink. Well, in my experience anyway. I had a friend tell me about the Micron pens, and I will say they were the first ones I bought as far as inking pens go, and I really, really like these. It took me a little while to get used to writing with them because there is a very small nib, and you have to be a little more delicate with certain things. But after I figured out how to work with them, I really like them. They're archival, they're waterproof. I can use these with the watercolors and it won't smudge or bleed. And the flow is really good on these. This is a Faber Castell Pitt soft brush pen. I do like this. It does take some getting used to with the brush tip. It is like using a paintbrush, as to where these are just the ends are the little nibs. So fine lines and details, and this is for more of like a, you can get different line weights with that. And it does take a little getting used to, so if you're new, I would stick to these. For the white, I wanted something for highlights. I purchased some of the Uni-ball Signo pens in different colors, and I like this one for highlights, but I do find that it gums up on the edge a little bit, and it skips. While the other colors I haven't had any problems with. I particularly like the gold and the silver. The white one just isn't my favorite. I would prefer the jelly roll pens, and you can get these pretty cheap at craft stores for like $1.99. I've tried the koi brush markers, and I really like these. The tips are, I believe it's a nylon. This is not waterproof. This will act like a watercolor if you apply water to it, but it's got a nice fine tip so you can get little lines and then you can get bold lines. And it comes in a variety of colors, and they're not very expensive. For paintbrushes, I found some really good brands that aren't super expensive, but my favorite are the Winsor Newton Cotmans, and if you watch at Michael's, you can find them on clearance. I will say, make sure you have the right paintbrush for the right application. If you have the wrong paintbrush for what you're trying to do, it's going to just frustrate you. Also, these are the Pentel Aquash brushes. My husband got these for me, and I really like these for the watercolors. You don't have to refill your water and dip and clean. The reservoir is filled with water, you just squeeze and the tips fill up. I ended up getting the 3-pack off of Amazon, and it comes with a large, a medium, and a fine. And these are really easy to use. The inks and the paints. For the inks, I haven't done a whole lot with the inks, but I do like a dip pen, and I like to paint with ink in my watercolor drawings. I've only tried this brand, the Rowney brand, and it is waterproof after it dries, of course, and it's light fast. It flows pretty easily, and it does dilute easily. I mean, it's a cheap brand. I haven't tried any others, so I really can't compare, but for me, beginning, it works well. As far as paints, I had some cheaper ones, and they were not very vibrant, and I was frustrated when painting with them, so I spent a little more, used a coupon at Michael's, and ended up with the Winsor Newton pan set.
This is the 14 half pan set. It's a travel set. It extends out on either end with little palettes for you to mix your paints in. It will dry, and you can reapply water and use the colors again. It does, like I said, it folds up nicely for on-the-go use. There's a side well here for water when you're on the go if you don't have like a small Aquash brush or something of that nature. It does come with a Winsor & Newton small, like travel size paintbrush, and it's a decent quality. The whole thing is compact and folds up nicely for travel.
The Kneaded erasers are wonderful. They pick up the graphite, and it works a lot better than certain ones. I don't know if you can see that. Let's make it a little darker. And it just lifts it right off the paper. This is my favorite because you can make it small and get into small tiny places, or you know, if you just need to lift a little off the water paper, it's not going to hurt your watercolor paper.
Another thing you can do to help further your drawing skills, go to your local bookstore or used bookstore and check to see if they have any books on drawing or learning to draw. I went to my local used bookstore and I found this small little book for just a few dollars, and it is a really good book that just goes through a small course on teaching different techniques and tips. Another resource is the internet. Go on YouTube. Check out some of these artists out there. They're really great on sharing tips and information and tutorials. I know I really love like Bailey J, Saquums, Hello Alice, Watercolor Misfits. There's a few others, Mary Doodles, and I'll put links all down below so you can check these people out too. They really have a lot to offer and are really helpful. That is it for this video. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, come check us out again. Thank you until next time.